Well, good morning, everyone. I have not done a walkabout in the backyard to let you know what kind of damage we experienced with last week's ice storm. It's not nearly as bad as the front, so that's the good news. I want to show you just a little bit. You can see this topiary, which I thought I had lost because it was completely bent over, and now it's not exactly standing up straight. It's kind of wonky, but nevertheless, it's still intact, and a number of these things were able to bounce back. So this Japanese maple over here, which was completely bent over to the ground, popped back up. There's a few broken branches on the top, but the devastation back here, it is absolutely nothing like the front. Absolutely nothing like the front. And I did just check in with my tree guy and some other people who are going to help and come clean up just some of the bigger things. There's a big old broken branch right there, and hopefully they will be able to get to me later in the week, first part of next week. At this point, my job, in addition to cleaning up the superficial stuff, is to just be patient. And so far, patience, I think, has rewarded me, because there were some things I initially at first inspection thought I was going to have to take down, and I don't. Now you can see a big gap in this Japanese maple here. And then this was the most severe damage back here to one of my red buds. It broke some pots, it toppled over some things. You can see some major damage on that one limb. Now this is where I'm going to pretend that there's a silver lining. You can see my string lights have kind of cratered. But this demolished stand of hydrangeas over here really haven't been blooming. And notice that these topiaries, these guys didn't really get too hurt. They've got a few holes in them, but they didn't get too hurt. Hallelujah. Again, nothing back here is nearly as devastated as the front. But you can see this stand of hydrangeas just got crushed. But since I lost a good bit of this red bud, I am going to save it and have it pruned beautifully, and this will allow more light down in this hydrangea bed, so they should bloom more prolifically and in deeper color. That viburnum over there, I think it had a couple of damaged branches, but overall it's not too bad. The storm must have come in from the south, because things that are on the north side are a little bit more protected. There's a big branch down right there, but I think I'm going to be able to salvage the canopy of red buds that is the ceiling to my back dining area, which is nice, and I'm thrilled about that. So this is what's interesting to me here. These two hanging baskets that I did, they took a little bit of a beating, but for the most part they remained intact on a dead branch, no less, and they didn't come down. It's the difference between night and day in the front and the back. So this not being so destroyed kept me from slitting my wrists, I guess. And there's still going to be some pretty fall color back here. Nandina berries. That arbor vitae over there, I wasn't sure about. It suffered a little bit of limb breakage, but nevertheless it popped back up. When you first come out after an ice storm, everything is so devastated you can't tell what is bent over and what is broken. And I was so relieved when I came out and saw that my viburnum that I prized so much in the back, it didn't have any damage at all. So go figure. It was back here that the transformer blew and set the fire in my neighbor's yard. to the east of me. A couple of late blooming roses there. Obviously it did freeze, but it was always on the cusp of freezing. It was, 30 to 33 degrees Fahrenheit. And so it wasn't a really hard freeze, but it was a freezing rain. And some of this has just succumbed to freezing temperatures. My flower bulbs from Color Blends arrived, and I'm going to do an unboxing and an unpackaging so you guys can see how they come packaged. Stuart and I will shoot that tomorrow. A few of the boxwoods, a number of the boxwoods in front were destroyed, but in the back they've got kind of some openings in them, but nevertheless they are still, I think, pretty much okay. The abelias all did great. And if you're in the Oklahoma City Metroplex area, I'm trying to kind of take an inventory of plants that really did well and plants that did not do well, so I can share that in the future. So if you're in the Oklahoma City Metroplex area and you experience this ice storm, please comment below and let me know what suffered and what escaped suffrage in your backyard. You can see the potager. I thought it would be just completely demolished, and yet it's doing just fine. And look how perky the ligustrum looks. So it was the front of the house that took the brunt. And like I say, I'm having some pruners out. I've decided to salvage all the trees in the front and see what we can do to try to make them beautiful again. That arborvitae there had a huge limb on it, and you can see it's kind of falling over. But I can stake it. And fortunately, this week it's actually been beautiful, and next week it's supposed to be, I think, beautiful as well till about Thursday. So you can see my shadow there. I'm out here in my bathrobe, you guys. And even though this is kind of a storm damage tour, some of this stuff still really looks pretty. There's so much just general cleaning up that needs to be done this time of year anyway. So between that and the storm, it doesn't look as pretty as it normally does this time of year. You can see where it kind of cratered that obelisk there. That, by the way, is from Gardener's Supply. And I think the foliage on the oak leaf hydrangea looks really beautiful. But you can already kind of tell just how valuable the evergreens are. Because my goodness, for the most part, it was all of the deciduous things. Those trees that lose their foliage in the winter that took the brunt of the damage. So if you kind of squint, I think you can see how I'll be able to recapture the formation of the red buds. And I'll have a little bit more light under there, which actually I guess I was needing. Now, because it is pretty today, and I'm going to do a separate video on this, but for right now, you can see that I've set a plant stand out here, and so those topiaries that I put inside the office, those will kind of come and go indoor, outdoor. Actually, it's a really pretty morning. Be safe if you're out voting today. And lots of leaves to clean up. Hubs, I think I still haven't put together my new Works leaf shredder, but we're going to do that today. He's really wonky. But we're going to put that together today and start shredding up some of these leaves, because after I clear out the front and all the debris, I'm going to have to put down some kind of layer of mulch or something, and those shredded leaves should be good. So there you go. This is an update on the backyard. And my topiaries look happy. I'm glad I got them in before the ice storm. So I'll stay in touch. Again, my Wi-Fi has been a little bit spotty, but I should be able to get this out to you today. And you can see here just how low my Wi-Fi cable is. I can reach up and touch it. So they're going to have to come back and reattach it. You guys stay safe, stay well, and again, thanks for all of your support this week.